So the story behind Send Him to Detroit was basically I'd been watching this fascinating documentary on Open University about Detroit and its management of sewage and its sort of management of water supplies and so on. And it was talking about this big, brand new, expensive sewage system they had there, which was in 1988. It was brand new, I think. Then they alluded to the fact that there were a lot of problems with algal blooms because of the phosphates and the nitrates that were being produced by the said management of sewage and also industrial effluent and so on.
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please!
I then happened at the same time to be watching, on some occasion, a video, because that dates me, but a video of a movie called Kentucky Fried Movie, which was a sort of collection of sketches, generally of quite poor taste, but also quite funny, made by the makers of Airplane, and they have a sketch in it which is a sort of piss take of Bruce Lee's kind of movies and these sort of kung fu movies, and they always have like an evil dictator who is the kind of the main person that the person's battling against the protagonist, and he gets this CIA agent and he says, so talk, or tell me everything you know, or whatever. And the man says, you can't scare me, there's nothing you can do that'll frighten me, or whatever. And he says, well then send him to Detroit. And at that point the guy breaks down and says, no, not Detroit, blah blah blah, it's the way I kill him. But anyway, I thought this was very funny, although as I say, it's kind of because Detroit's had a rather rough time because of the industry sort of grinding down in the 1960s and 70s, and the fact that it had a pretty tough time in the 1970s for people living there. So, as I said, poor taste, but I thought it was quite a funny gag. It sort of melded between that and the sewage plant thing, and somehow that's how the lyrics came about. I then sort of sat down at the piano and I kind of did this little 12-bar thing, which Neil then turned into this rather sweet little figure. But essentially it was the 12-bar thing that I presented him with. And we ended up with the song as it is.
I said, send him to Detroit, yeah, back them to the sea. See the Rockies on the movies, the modern American scene, yeah. Let the love covered city, yeah, with a brand new sewage world.
And we had first recorded it with, I think the band was at that time called Andrew Mitchell's Second Act, because I'm not egotistical at all. It was featured on an album, which was my first album actually, which was Less Is More. So I think it's one of the tracks on that. With the great Sam Kelly playing drums on it originally. And then we went back to the name The AM Band. So it was just after the AM Blues Band had kind of fizzled out, really. It was roughly around the same time. but it was just a little, maybe 6 months later. When I came to put the whole thing back together again, the kind of the idea of the blues band again, it seemed like a natural song to put in the set. So that was where it sort of originated. And I know the blizzard do wanna go. 900 Years to Come, I make reference to 2001, and that was in fact the sort of inspiration for the lyrical ideas in there, and also a rather kind of crude sentiment suggested to me by Mike Caton, who's a guitarist I knew at the time, and it was written a long time ago when I was about 15. And that was done, you know, back in the days when I used to attack the keyboard. And so you've got footage of me mangling a Fender Rhodes or something, trying to do my sort of impersonation of Emerson, Lake and Palmer or something. But that was that era when that song came into existence. And we played that live a few times, quite a few times actually, and we messed around with it, and by the end of it, because the drummer was mad on Robert Wyatt, we went into this weird manic jazz attempt in the middle with the solo, and that later kind of made its way onto a demo that I did back in the 90s when I had my studio set up, which went under the name Catalyst Records or whatever. I'd never done a version of it that was releasable, really, although the demo was not bad in those days. That was one that I felt I wanted to record and give it the full works with the string section and really make it kind of a big sound. Really nice. Just hang on to the note a little bit longer at the end. Yeah. I mean, good, but just don't, you know, carry on until you're ready to stop, basically.
That's it.
and in same key, I think. Okay. Take me out, maybe I into the world 900 years to come. Call me a fool, you're right.
are you, yeah, but it took 1 9 million years to come.